Hello, namaste. It's Leanne Peters here. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And this is the final of our chakra series for 2019. So we're focusing today now on the crown chakra. So this will top off our 7 major chakras that we've been exploring quite deeply this month, or maybe if you're watching the replay at your own pace. So I trust you've enjoyed this exploring and getting to know yourself through your chakra system. You can probably understand maybe a little bit more now if you've been following it. What I'm saying when, I guess what it means to me, connecting with the chakras in regards to my personal self-healing journey, and even the healing work, even the artwork that I do, that I can link back to the chakra system. So the chakras are essential tools and components of who I am, and it's been a real honour to have this space here to be able to share in a safe way, for you all to be so open. And I trust that you've found something valuable from parts of or this whole journey. It's been lots of fun. Hello, everyone. So the crown chakra. The crown chakra sits here at the crown of our head. So just slightly back, not the top, but the crown. So it's just slightly back at the crown of our head. And the crown chakras... the crown chakra, you could imagine it like a vortex going up. So that means the vortex goes down through the body, through all of the chakras, through what we'd call the kundalini, and down out the base chakra. So that's what I'm saying when the chakra, the crown and the base are opposites of each other. They keep the balance. They keep us connected to above and below. To spirit, to matter, to spirit and our body, our earthly experience. So they are the balance, and everything else is the in-between that helps us live our life. So in some ways, you might have heard me talk about the vertical axis and the horizontal axis as far as us as beings. So we are on the vertical axis, that's our connections to above and below, and the horizontal axis, to me, that's our path, our life. So our journey, the steps we take on the horizontal plane, moving forward, past, future, that sort of thing. So in some ways we might think of the crown chakra and the base chakra being a massive part. In fact, the whole system, a big part of our vertical alignment. But our inner chakras, from the third eye to the sacral, are also about our horizontal alignment on that horizontal axis. So our path, our life's path. And I trust you're feeling a deeper sense of connection with who you are. And that's a great lead-in really for the crown chakra. So the crown chakra sits here. It connects upwards. It draws energy down. It is the top, the peak of our kundalini, which is the movement of the energy that runs up and down through the spine. So we could say that center point that connects the crown chakra with the base chakra, the kundalini. And the crown chakra up here usually vibrates at the color frequency of violet, but it can also be white, gold, silver, as some of the other colors I've seen. So it just depends on our frequency, will depend on what color it seems to be for us. So the crown chakra, I've found, is our center for connections. So connecting with the world beyond the physical, connecting with others, connecting with our life, connecting with ourselves. So connection. It's all about connection up here. So then we can think of, okay, when am I not feeling connected? When am I feeling disconnected, separate, alone, isolated, pressured, small? All these issues we can usually trace back to the crown chakra. So the biggest block that I see in the crown chakra for myself and with my work over the years is separation issues. Separation is kind of an illusion, even though it feels very real. It's a bit like time. Time feels very real, but it is in many ways an illusion. So separation kind of makes us think that we're disconnected, that we're alone, that we're separate, that we're small, that we're isolated, that we're on this lonely old island here living our life on our own, the only one with problems. Everyone else seems to have a great, perfect life, and ours is just miserable. So there's that sort of way of thinking, that sort of mentality, we could trace back to separation issues. And separation issues run deep. It's probably the deepest running issue that I've seen throughout my whole healing journey, both personally and in others. Our fear of separation, our fear of being on our own perhaps, our fear of our comfortable zone being taken away, that's separation. Our fear of the loss of loved ones, the fear of our children leaving the nest perhaps. And then we can trace it down to our own separations that we've experienced. I remember when I was going through big separation questions, which was very, very early on in my self-healing journey, before I even started Temple of Balance. It was very early on. So we're talking around the year 2000, which was when it was my big wake-up. So between the year 2000 and the year 2005, I started Temple of Balance. So that 5 years was big self-healing time for me. So very early on, so we're talking about 20 years now for me, I recognized that I had separation issues, and I traced them back, or traced them into, first of all, my relationship and this massive conflict and distance that was taking place at the time. This was in my first marriage. And feeling disconnected, feeling distance, or we could say separation from myself and those close to me. I felt that everyone was always at least an arm's length. And sometimes that arm's length felt like miles in length, you know, even if someone was right next to me. And then I looked back further. Okay, I'm the daughter of separated parents. So when I was 7 or 6 or 7, because my father remarried when I was 7, so it must have been a bit earlier than that. And I was the eldest of 3 girls from that marriage. So my younger sister was only 1. And so there was a rip apart in the family unit. And that was actually pretty difficult to go through, because I felt for me personally, I had to support my sisters being the eldest. You sort of step into that role. We lived with Dad, so we weren't living with Mum. So I sort of had to step into that mother role as well. And, you know, I remember thinking for a lot of those years in my younger years that I really missed my mum. But, you know, looking back, it's a different story, which I won't go into. But, you know, I just think as I was exploring separation, going back to that sort of feeling of being a child and having that unit sort of separated. It really comes down to separation. So that, I was dealing with that wound. And then when I looked back even further, I was dealing with the separation between me and those that I love, my grandfather, close people in my life that I've had to say goodbye to, have gone to the spirit world over the years. And also my separation from Source. And this is what I realized my separation came down to. Everything, all separation issues, they were just like, you know, like a delta, or I'm thinking of tree roots, how they all sort of divide out, and you have like maybe one root or one trunk, and then it divides and divides and divides, and you end up with these tiny little, you know, this dividing, constant dividing. And I kind of felt all the dividing, all the separation, every time I'd experienced a separation issue, or that separation wound was stirred or salt rubbed into it somehow, it could all be pointed back to that trunk, and that main trunk was my separation from source. So we can trace separation back to that split that we had from source, from the creator, the bigger creator that we're a part of, that we separated from. So we could have this experience, so we could journey, grow, expand that source of love and reconnect with source in an expanded way. So separation is a huge issue that a lot of us carry, maybe without even realizing it. So it tends to be a fear of separation, and separation wounds. And I often see this playing out when I'm doing healing work as a split here at the crown chakra. And sometimes I see it like a tree trunk, and the tree trunk it's like it's been hit by lightning, and it's got this split, this crack. And it's almost like this, you know, sometimes it can be right down to the heart or even lower, this kind of split in the trunk. You know, so if we imagine ourselves, you know, trying to keep our balance, trying to stay whole, trying to stay connected, but we're walking around with this energetic split. Like, you know, this, I don't know if you can imagine it, but this kind of just split down here if we were a tree. And here we have two sides of ourselves totally out of balance, trying our best to reconnect, trying to sort our way through this sometimes messy and difficult life when we have this sort of big wound sticking out like a sore thumb that we don't even really see, because we might be looking at other things as being the cause. You know, sometimes we look so closely at the problem or the specific situation that we're dealing with that I've got an issue with mum, I've got something going on at work, I've got this going on with my health, or, you know, there's all these kind of surface things that we're trying to deal with. But if we can peel them back, a lot of them are probably pointing back to separation issues. And for me, when I've noticed this, when I notice that I've become separate from myself, and I notice a distance in my connection with others, especially people close to me, then there's something going on that's stirring up at the crown chakra, connecting with my separation issues. So when we feel separate, we don't feel connected. When we feel separate or alone, or like we're doing everything on our own, or we're disconnected, we're going to feel severed right here, sometimes even right here at the neck, but severed here, which means that it appears to us, our reality says that we are not connected, we are small, we can doubt ourselves, we can live in fear. You know, we have this kind of, if it's not like a split that I see, it would be like almost a disc or something that's up here, a plate, that makes us think that this above us doesn't exist, that we don't belong here, we don't have purpose, that life is hard. Although that sort of statement might come back to the base chakra, but there is a connection between the base and the crown. They are opposites of each other. So, you know, I think, and we've noticed these are pretty deep wounds that we carry in the crown. And as I'm saying this, I feel a heaviness over the crown, and I feel especially a heaviness here to the side. It's almost like a cap. We're wearing, you know, one of those religious caps on our crown, but it feels like a plate, like a metal plate that's deflecting our spiritual light back to spirit, away from us. Maybe we think we're not deserving of a connection, or we're not deserving of feeling like we belong here. Maybe we're punishing ourselves. I mean, that's probably another angle to think about. Why we live disconnected from the truth of who we are in this wounded space, this wounded body. So it doesn't matter really how much work we do on the chakras that we've looked at. If we're feeling separate, disconnected, and our reality says that we are separate, we are alone, that we are disconnected, that we are small, we are unworthy, then we are going to stay out of balance. It will be really hard to maintain our balance if we're feeling separate. Because separation creates an imbalance. Because as soon as we're separated, and especially deep separation wounds, we start swinging the pendulum, that balance pendulum, from feeling great to feeling horrible. From thinking about the future and being obsessed by it to thinking about the past and being obsessed by it, and finding it really difficult to just keep that pendulum in the middle just for a little bit. It can be really hard to keep it there, because then it's on the move to the next swing and the next swing. Hello. Hi everyone. So separation, the nature of it brings imbalance. So the crown chakra, just like all the other ones that we've connected with, is essential in maintaining our balance. So maybe give some thought to, my nose feels very itchy, probably a cat hair floating around. Maybe give some thought to how separate you feel, how balanced you are right now, how disconnected you might feel, or how connected you might feel. How small you feel right now, or how powerful you feel, how tall. And give some thoughts, some checking in with your current state of being, but especially connected with the crown chakra. What else do I need to talk about in regards to the crown? You might notice in my a lot of my drawings, I've just been thinking then just for a moment, talk about an open crown or a closed crown. Opening up to potential connections, possibilities, improvement, being open-minded. Of course, none of the cards are here at the front. Oh, they're in other decks, which I don't have on me right now. But I'm thinking of the light codes card, for example, from the Speed of Light, with just sort of the head and this open area here. Same with the Elementals card. They're very open, almost like this is an open area, so that we can let energy in. We can let new ideas in. We can let potentials in, abundance in. So when we're closed off, we're probably feeling small. We've probably got that bit of a cap over our head here energetically, or we might have a split that runs down our body. So considering too whether you feel open to improvement or closed off to improvement. Are you feeling open to yourself, or are you feeling closed to yourself? Are you feeling closed in your connections around you? So our relationships of any type are going to reflect back to us our wounds, or how connected we are if they're going well. But and it's not necessarily the person that, I use the gossip thing as an example. If we've got a neighbour that's a big gossip and it really irritates us, we try and, run in from the car when we get home because we don't want them to look out the window and quickly pull us up and gossip about the person across the street or something else. So just because that irritates us doesn't mean that we're a gossip too. It's the feeling that it brings up. It's the feeling that is stirred that is the key to understanding what these relationships are reflecting back to us. And our relationships are big reflectors of our own separation issues. They're also big reflectors of our communication issues too, which are usually a lack of communicating with ourselves. So the crown chakra, some tools to help you with the crown chakra potentially are your violet crystals like amethyst, your white crystals like selenite, clear quartz, those sorts of things, stones. Your golden ones, I usually feel they're a bit heavier, so they sort of resonate a bit more for me in the solar plexus chakra, like pyrite, or even gold. The metal gold sort of feels a bit heavier, so it feels like it sits more in the power center to me. So those higher vibrating stones, selenite's a great one for the crown chakra. And now just actually I've probably got quite a few crown chakra connected ones, healing energy cards. Hello. Spiral of Grace, definitely connected with the crown chakra, even though it might not say it, I don't think. It's about separation, and it's about lifting up out of that wheel of karma, that wheel of issues, wounds, separation, a shift in reality, and lifting up into the spiral of grace, this expanded feeling, which is very much connected with the crown. This is also connected with the crown chakra, a reunion. This is about connecting with our masculine side. So some of us, especially females, maybe in recent years, have been very heavily focused on awakening our feminine side, and in some ways may have neglected the awakening of our masculine side, because they go together. So our crown chakra, also we can connect with our masculine and our feminine on a higher level. So I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but the sacral chakra is like our feminine center, emotional, fluent sort of center. The solar plexus is a bit more power, strength, masculine feeling, but they're very much related to our physicality and our physical life. Finding courage to push forward, letting ourselves feel and be soft, and all these types of things which are very physical, quite physical. Whereas if we're looking at masculine and feminine at a deeper, higher level, then we can actually trace it. It's shifting energy in the throat. We can trace it back to the crown chakra, because if we're feeling separate or alone, then we're feeling separate from ourselves, which usually means we're feeling separate or disconnected from our masculine side or our feminine side. So if we've become split here and out of balance, we might find that we run through the extremes of feminine energy, and we may be in heightened, unstable emotional state, feeling really impatient and almost practicing the counterpart of a positively functioning feminine side. So we might find our more negative feminine qualities come out, like impatience, excessive emotions, a total block in creativity, a total block in nurturing and self-care. And the same with the masculine side. If we're running that in a healthy way, we're going to feel the positive qualities of the masculine. But if it's out of balance, and if we're split, and if we're swinging, the pendulum swinging from one to the other, we're going to start experience more the negative aspects of the masculine, the unhealthy power, the unresolved anger, the probably snapping irritations. So the masculine in an imbalanced way. So the masculine and feminine can also be traced back to the crown chakra and a separation within ourselves. So that's where that card comes in, which is about boosting our masculine energy for balance. The white light card can be traced back to the crown chakra. It's great for purifying, cleansing, and also bringing a balance through our whole system, but it sort of starts at the crown. Heaven on earth, another strong one for the crown. That's more on the vertical axis, so connecting and merging that masculine and feminine that I was talking about. Here, that's what these represent, masculine and feminine, and the bringing of those together as one, and then bringing that energy down into our body. There's a figure sitting here. What else we got here for the crown? Probably also this observation card, stretching past our limitations and the box that holds us in, that holds us limited and small. So this is about growing. It's about pushing out of that box. Like if we had this tree that we'd put in a pine box and we'd nailed all the sides down, and this tree just wanted to grow and grow. It's going to probably twist in this box unless it can push out and let the box break down, and it can grow and reach new heights, new levels, new depths. So there's an expansion, growth feeling there, which is very much connected. Yeah, what's the one I dropped here? Oh, and probably the best one for the crown chakra is reconnection. This actually brings an emphasis to the crown chakra. So this is a great card to go to if you're feeling disconnected and you're feeling separate and alone or alone. So just thinking if there's anything else that I need to talk about with the crown chakra. I guess, you know, sometimes we think a bit like maybe the third eye chakra, that we think that the crown chakra is our spiritual place. It's our place where we reach enlightenment or where we can connect with the spirit world. And in many cases it is. But again, that's just a fraction of what the potential of the crown chakra is about. It's actually very physical in nature, maybe more than we realize. And that can be traced back to the opposite of the crown being the base chakra. So it's very much connected with above and below, spirit and matter, our spiritual connections, our earthly connections, and the balance that's required. So again, it reminds me of a tree, a big old tree, that if we spent all of our time focusing on having the biggest root, the biggest branches that stretch as far into the sky as possible, if that represents our connections to spirit, and we want the, you know, the best branches, so we neglect our physical body, we neglect maybe eating, having a physical experience, doing the mundane physical things, which can be mundane and boring, but they're part of being physical. If we neglect all that, we're not honouring our root system, and then it doesn't take much to knock us off balance. So a part of also keeping the balance, not just with this split, the feminine and masculine sort of balancing split, but also the balance between above and below. So making sure our root system is strong and really anchoring us into the earth, into our physical body to support our growing branches. So our balance of connecting above with connecting below, meaning our physicality, our physical body, is really essential in our balance. So it's not just a balance on the horizontal, so the masculine, feminine, the past, the future, and that sort of balance that I talked about with the split here, but it's also our up and down balance. So our physicality in connecting with our body, connecting in our relationships, connecting in our relationships with ourselves, with our life journey, with nature, these are all absolutely essential in keeping a balance up here at the crown. So just like to keep a balance in our base chakra, it will be important that we spend time connecting with the things we want to connect with. For me, I find my crown chakra very stimulated through creating. So I get so focused in creating, sculpting clay or drawing, that I actually feel a very strong sense of connection to spirit and to the, you know, those energies that we talked about in the third eye chakra, the subtle energies all around. So, you know, balancing our spiritual connections with our physical is really, really important to think about. So let's prepare to go into some healing time. I'm going to pull a healing energy card to support our healing time. We've just got the garbage truck coming by. You can take all the garbage, take all our separation issues, and take them away from here. We need to be willing to recognize that we may be blocked, especially in our crown chakra, that we may be feeling separate or disconnected, and that we have the power to plug back in, to reconnect with who we are, to reconnect in our relationships, to reconnect with our connection to spirit. So our healing energy card to support our healing time for the crown chakra is this. New Vibration, card 38. And it was one that I kind of stopped at for a moment to see if I wanted to share this with the crown chakra. So there is a crown chakra connection, and probably just purely even, you know, if nothing else, just with the connection with above and the connection with below. See, I've drawn roots in here. So the connection with our earthly experience is so important. We might want to give up on it and run away from our life many times during our life's journey. Sometimes it just gets really hard But if we can learn how to live it in a balanced way as best as possible, deal with these challenges and reconnect with our life, then it will be really helpful in supporting us moving forward and supporting our balance as well. So new vibration. This talks about new energy coming in. New energy, new opportunities, new beginnings. New beginnings we could probably source back to the crown chakra. So when we're open to the idea of new beginnings and we give ourselves permission to step forward into the new, and we're backing that up, you know, through the rest of our system, then those new beginnings will reveal themselves, or we can create them. It says grounding and connection, which is below and above. You are moving into a new vibration. It's time to nourish the new as it grows within you. You are the one who must follow through, take action, and do the nurturing. So we have to take responsibility for our role in our life and recognize, if we can, as best as we can, what's stopping us from that reconnection and that taking that responsibility. So I'm going to use, let's use the rattle. I've got my little rattle I'm going to use first, and then I'm going to use the chakra chimes. And we're going to do some healing. Let's do some shifting first with this rattle. So I'm thinking of the rattle of shaking things up. You know, we have to really be willing to let things shake up if we really truly want to heal and we want to find our balance and we want to reconnect. So this is now, while I play the rattle, opportunity for you, for all of us, if we want to shake things up, especially up here in our crown. Meaning, let's let our separation issues be shaken up and come to the surface. Let's let our fear be shaken up and come to the surface. Let's let those small, doubting, unworthy thoughts shake up and come to the surface. Let's let any splits or coverings or small thoughts about ourselves or our life, let's let these also shake up and bounce to the surface so we can release them. So take some deep breaths, and if you want to, you may want to place your hand here on your crown, maybe on your crown and one on your solar plexus or one on your heart if you want to, and take some big deep breaths and work with your breathing, your out breath, to help you let go. Surrender. It's very much a surrendering in the crown. So what do you need to surrender? Let's do it. So nice big breath. Imagine all those wounds bobbing up to the top of your crown chakra, almost coming to that disc up there like it was a magnet, and it's magnetizing all these wounds up to this plate. Let them go, let them rise up, out of your body, out of your head, out of your being, and up to the very surface of your crown. Everything that's held our split in place. And I don't know about you, but I'm starting to get a splitting headache. So everything that's held that split in place, if you resonate with that, let it bounce to the surface. All of our separation issues, from present to past, right through to our creation. Past lives as well, we can carry separation issues through from those. And let them bounce up. And let them stick to this metal plate, this magnetic metal plate sitting here on top of your crown. And it's just like a piece of tin that's been hammered into the shape of the crown. Magnetic. So everything gets just sucked up into this magnet. It's strong. And it becomes full quite quickly, so we just grab the stuff that it's it's attracted and toss it away. And we let more now come up to the surface. Let all of those issues just pour up, pour out. So we surrender them and we let them rush out. And again, we just scoop what's been collected and toss it over to the side where it's just energy. It just returns back to love. And more is rushing up. It's getting finer and finer. Bigger pieces at the beginning and now finer little filings and fragments of issues. We collect it, scoop it and throw it away. And now finer, like dust, tiny little dust and sand particles attracted up to this magnet, coming from right down deep inside us, because our splits can be deep. They're not just a surface little cut. Our splits can be split right down, sometimes to our base chakra. So we can have very deep splits. So let all those little wounds and big wounds rise up out of the body, lifting up and being attracted to this magnet. So we collect it, let it go. And let the finer particles like dust and the little particles we can barely even see with our eyes, let them be attracted up to this magnet on top of our head. So we have this deep clearing of our separation issues and things that are stopping us from being connected in all ways across the vertical axis and the horizontal axis. From our moment of creation to this moment in time. Through all our past lives and in between lives. Everything that chipped a bit of us away. Everything that just took that split deeper and deeper. We let those go. We let them rise up like smoke right up to this magnet. And collecting that that's accumulated, throwing it away, and letting go. So now the finest of particles are coming up to our crown. And we now let that go. We let that go. And now we pull off this tin, this magnetic tin, this covering we had over our crown, that kept us in a space of disconnection and separation. We pull this layer, this covering off, and we throw it over to the earth where it just returns back to love. And now we're left open here. Open, and this openness may flow down further into our body. Depends if we had a split and how deep we feel it went. So now there's this air, this void, this open space. And now it's time to glue these parts together. So let's use the chimes for that. So if you resonate with the split and you've cleared all that stuff out, now we're left with this void here. And now it's time to bring these sides together. So if half our head was here, half our head was here, it's now time to marry these together. Bring them together as one. As one. This is where oneness sits in our crown. When we feel one, whole, complete. If we're experiencing separation and it's a deep wound playing out in our life, it's very difficult to feel like we belong, like we're whole, like we're one, like we're complete. So let's unite our sides. Let's bring together our feminine side, our masculine side, our left side, our right side, our past side, our future side, and bring all of these energies into alignment, reunite them as one in our body, one with this moment, one in balance and in alignment, where the masculine and the feminine are united as one, as equals. True equality. Not this pretend equality stuff that keeps inequality in play. But real, true equality, where we're treating ourselves as our equal and uniting, holding that united front. So let's bring the glue in. Let's bring in the glue. I feel like I want to say let's call in the clowns. Let's bring in the glue. And, okay, let's bring in the glue. I'll hold the chimes up in a minute. I just want to play 2 lots right now. Imagine glue, like sap from a tree, pouring down the opening here at the crown and down all the way into the split, wherever it goes to for you. And it coats all the inside of this split area like glue. Pouring all the way down into that fine hairline crack of the split. Now imagine this glue pulling together these parts that have become separate. Starting at the lowest, finest split point, this glue calls these parts together, and a very slow, precise melding or merging or marrying takes place, bringing these sides together, mending this split, and creating a healthy connection and balance within us. So feel your shoulders come back together again. Feel your face come back together again. Feel your crown come back together again. United as one. The one being that we are. Connected, aligned, balanced. We belong here. Above, united with below. Our spirit united with our body. Our past united with our future. In other words, being present in the now. Our masculine united with our feminine. So as these parts have sealed back together again and have become one, our crown chakra is left in a healthy open space, not ripped at, not blocked off, not severed, but healthy, in a healthy open crown chakra. And now bring your focus and imagine the best that you can, a cord that comes up from the crown chakra that connects through time and space, through all frequencies and realities to the very core of who you are, the essence of you, the creator that is you. Through the stars, through the realities, through the frequencies, home to you, to your soul, your spirit, the creator that you are, the source that you are. We are not separate from source. We are not separate from the creator, because we are source. We are the creator of our life, of our being, of our experience, of our reality. just bask in this for as long as you need to. I'm just going to play the chimes and not talk. And perhaps when you're ready, imagine now all of these chakras that we've worked on aligning and lighting up together. From your crown down to your base chakra. Feel them awake, alive, active, moving, healthy, and just as they need to be. And like the phoenix, we burst out, or the serpent, we burst out of our whole chakra system and out through the crown chakra, celebrating who we are, celebrating life, appreciating, loving, expanding and flowing. Floating amongst the stars. Then coming back down into our body. Understanding perhaps who we are just that little bit more. Feeling the expansion and the vastness of our being. And bringing that vastness, that expansion into our body as best as we can. And letting it help support our ability to function in life. So feel now, we've connected with the heightened energy, feel like an anchor perhaps coming in and anchoring all of this beautiful energy into your body, into your heart, into your feet, into your life. as we find a new sense of, well, renewed sense of connection with our body, with our life. Because when we reject it, we're not only affecting our base chakra, we're also creating a separation or a disconnection in our crown, which left unchecked can lead to quite an unhealthy balance, being imbalanced. So, you know, reconnecting and appreciating and honouring our earthly experience is really important in helping us stay connected. So connection is not just about spirit. It's very much probably more about our physicality. So when we're rejecting a part of ourselves, when we're rejecting a part of our life, it's probably helpful to look at, okay, what are we feeling disconnected from? Is this coming back to separation? What is this coming back to? So that's our chakra series. Celebrations. We made it. It's been an exciting journey. It's been wonderful for me to sit here and reconnect in with the chakras in a way that I feel safe to share. So thank you. Yeah, it feels to be like fireworks celebration. Celebration. I've got this lady. What is it? Oh, calendar. This lady singing up to my front door, and she's just dropped a calendar off and went, so that was funny. Okay, so celebrations, fireworks going off, and really celebrating, you know, how lucky we are to be living and breathing right now. That the bigger picture shows us that we're actually very, very lucky to be here and how precious life is. So thank you. If you have questions or feedback or anything, if you want to let me know how you've enjoyed the chakra series, please send me an email. You can contact me through my website at templeofbalance.com.au. Thank you. I trust that you feel enriched and that maybe you know yourself now in ways that you maybe hadn't thought of before. So I would love that to be so. If it's the case, then fantastic. Now I'm going to pull a healing energy card to go. So this is now, what do we need to know for what's next? You know, we can let this really be just the beginning. Just the beginning of our reconnection with who we are and getting to know ourselves on those deeper, more intimate levels more regularly. Not just something we do when we're down in the pits, you know, every few months or something, but something that we do regularly and that we make this a regular part of our self-care and our balance priority. I think, well, for me, balance is my priority. So I check in with that every single day to make sure that I'm in balance. And if I'm not, then I take steps straight away to do something about it. And it doesn't make me anything special or anything different. It just means that that's a priority for me. And it does work. It does help us maintain our balance so we're not swinging so much, so we recognize wounds quicker. So our healing energy card to represent our forward movement from here is Sacred Love. Card 40. It says a feeling of connection. Oh, sorry. A feeling and connection beyond words. And that's really very much how it feels right now. A merging and coming together, which is what we've just done with that energy from the crown. Love, sacred grids, a calling from your beloved, twin flame reunion, strengthening self-love and sacredness. So this is very much about taking our connection with ourselves deeper now. And there's no excuses. You know, we've connected in with hopefully quite helpful resources now. Now it's about applying. And so really using this information to help us be better people, to help us expand our being, to reconnect, stay balanced and all that sort of stuff. But very much with this card is about love. It's about loving, accepting who we are, our physical experience, you know, Sometimes we focus so much on what's missing or what other people have that we sort of see but we are missing or that we are entitled to. But what if we could just find a sense of contentment with who we are now, what we have now, and the space that we're in, and take steps maybe to bring new things into our life if that's what we want to do, or make changes. So sacred love is where we move forward from here in a united space, a united front, in a united space with ourselves, being a team with ourselves. So instead of having our feminine split here and our masculine split here and then being sort of negative traits of those aspects, fighting against each other, which is what happens when we're feeling separation. There's an inner conflict. So instead of being at this inner battle, inner conflict, we're now united and can work together with ourselves to keep moving forward and keep having this life experience. So thank you so much for connecting. I do trust that you feel better and great and have enjoyed this series. Thank you so much, and sending you lots of love from my heart to yours. Namaste. Thank you.